Open Sauce is only 4 days away, and I need to cut a special gemstone for our booth. So I figured I'd do something really classic, a pixel cut Minecraft emerald. Unfortunately, I can't cut it out of emerald because they don't grow them that big. So instead I'm going to use vanadium yag. Vanadium yag is an exotic garnet grown for use in lasers, which also happens to be one of the most vivid green gemstones in the world. Fortunately for us, these pieces did not meet spec, which is why they're here instead of in a powerful laser array. Now let's get it on the dop and start cutting. This is a huge gem, so I need to rough the shape in with my 100 grit lab, which is just short of bashing a rock against it. Then on to 240 grit for a bit of refinement, establishing that classic emerald outline and putting in some facets. The 240 is still pretty rough and it leaves chips on the facet edges, so I have to work extra hard with the 600 grit lab to get those all worked out and put the facets close to their final position. Next up is an 8000 grit pre-polish. These facets are huge and pre-polishing takes forever, but it's incredible to watch these rough faces turn into transparent windows. This is where most of the work happens. It's all about getting the facets perfectly flat and with a smooth surface that will polish quickly. The facets are now nice and clear, but the scratches on the surface still catch the light. Next up, the 60,000 grit final polish will leave a perfectly smooth face. Polishing isn't too difficult, but it's a bit stressful when the facets are this big. It's very easy for a small edge to chip off of one of these facets and get dragged across the face, and depending how bad it is, you might have to go back to 600 grit and redo all of it. Fortunately, that only happened once on this stone. Okay, the pavilion is finally finished. Now let's get it transferred over to another dop so I can finish it by cutting the crown. I recently got this extra large transfer jig, so a stone this size is no problem. So far this gem's shape looks pretty normal, but this step is where the magic happens. This type of design is called an opposed bar or pixel cut. The pavilion has long straight facets running end to end like a normal emerald cut, but now I put horizontal facets on the crown. As light passes through each set, it's divided into brilliant squares and should look like a pixelated sprite brought out into the real world. The crown went really well, and all that was left was the final flat facet at the top known as the table. The machine needs a special adapter to hit this angle. If you try to just point the stone straight down, it can destroy your machine if it gets caught on the lap. And now the stone is finished. Let's get it off the dop and see what we've got. First up, I really should have cut the corners in deeper, but aside from that, I'm really happy with how it looks. It really feels like a pixelated sprite that's been brought into real life. And the final weight is 87 carats. And if you'd like to see this stone, it'll be on display in our booth at Open Sauce this weekend. Look for Stephen Challoner Gems of Science. This is a crazy convention with all my favorite science and making YouTubers, and something like 500 other projects on display. It's going to be an incredible time, and I hope to see you there.